This is the Jason Walker Show. Two-time National Sports Media Association Montana Sportscaster of the Year and three-time loser, the Jason Walker Show. The best local and statewide sports coverage, featuring the biggest guests from Montana.
Flint Rasmussen joining us here on the Jason Walker Show.
He's freaking exhausting, too. You used to dance a lot more. Yeah, I know, lady. I'm 51 years old now.
The NAI Hall of Famer Mike Van Diest joining us here, Jason Walker Show. And is it just a deal where quarterbacks have to be good golfers?
Well, that's all they have time for. They don't work out. They don't lift weights. They don't do anything else. They might as well go get on the golf course and at least have some fun.
And from across the country,
Doug Gottlieb, our guest here on the Jason Walker Show.
End of the day, remember, it's your show. It's got your name on it.
Howie Mandel, our guest here.
Jason Walker, deal or no deal?
the Jason Walker Show, broadcasting from the Major Mortgage Man Cave. Here's Jason Walker.
Yo, happy Monday. The Jason Walker Show, presented by Capital Collision Center inside the Major Mortgage Man Cave on a chilly, snowy day. Golf season is done. More than like 99% done in Helena. I don't think we're going to get on the course again until next year. Man, had a great run, though. Had a great run. Big show today. We're going to talk to Havre Principal and Activities Director Brian Kessler as the Blue Ponies have to cancel their final game. We'll talk more about that here in a second. Also, Jordy Hansen will join us, 406mtsports.com, and recap the weekend of sports. We have your Auto Concepts Performance of the Week. Some great nominations already coming in. Don't forget, Wednesday, Senator Steve Daines will join us on the show, and, of course, much, much more. All right. On this day in history, we've got our polls and tons more. So let's get to it. Hope you had a great weekend. It was a good weekend. Didn't get to golf, obviously. We got all the snow, but had a great weekend. Took the little one yesterday. She did a little pumpkin painting, ceramic punt. It was really cool. She had a great time. So that was fun. Hope you did something fun. You can watch on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and listen on Podbean, Network One Sports, and much more. If you go to jasonwalkershow.com and email jasonwalkersports@gmail.com, and also anytime you want to weigh in, you can. You can call, you can tweet, you can text, you can Facebook, whatever. Just get a hold of us. We want you on the show. So anyway, and tentatively, no show tomorrow. But tentatively, maybe a show. We'll find out in about an hour. Which will be, I'll let you know. Anyway. All right, our COVID update. Because we've had some cancellations. More. 569 new cases reported today. 23,390 since March. 241 deaths. 9,611 active cases. 13,538 have recovered. 339 currently in the hospital. Yellowstone County, 2,184. Flathead, 1,377. Missoula County, 655. Cascade, 695. Glacier, 594. 448 in Gallatin, 384 Lewis and Clark, 396 Roosevelt. Hill County, 284. That high line has exploded in the last week and a half. You got 149 in Toole, 146 Blaine, 143 Valley, 396, as we mentioned, Roosevelt. 151 Richland, which includes Sydney, which played Havre on Friday night. And Havre now is canceling its final game, which is the end of the season for the Blue Ponies, with one win. About 30 Havre football players begin quarantining Sunday. They've either tested positive or are close contacts. So we'll talk to Brian Kessler about that coming up. And Jordy Hansen, of course, will join us too. So there was about 10 players left for the home game against Billings Central on this coming Friday. So that's done. And we'll get the reasoning behind it from Brian Kessler coming up here in just a few minutes. What else has been canceled? Roundup has canceled its last game this week, scheduled for Huntley Project. Is the third straight game for Roundup canceled because of COVID. because multiple Roundup students, including some football players, have tested positive. So Roundup's 2-1. No, 2-2. Anyway, so they will not play. They're done for the year, which is terrible. And we mentioned last week, the playoffs directly being affected right now for soccer. Loyola girls couldn't play because of COVID. They had to pull out of the State A tournament for soccer. Stevensville went in. Stevensville then upset Hamilton to advance. So, I mean, things work out. You get your opportunity and you shine. But craziness. So we'll talk to Brian Kessler. In fact, so Havre played Sydney on Friday. Lewistown and Sydney, as of right now, is to be announced. That's not a positive at all. But let's go ahead and let's bring in Brian Kessler now to join us on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline. Havre canceling its final game. What does that mean for the rest of sports up there and moving forward? Let's talk to the former Helena standout, now currently the principal and activities director at Havre, Brian Kessler, joining us now on the Jason Walker Show. All right, first off, obviously it sucks to have to cancel a football game, but when did you start getting the reports yesterday that, something bad is going to happen here?
Early, about 11 o'clock yesterday is when it kind of started to hit for us that something potentially is going to be happening. So we had to start thinking about options and looking at numbers and start to put together a plan for how we could potentially make it work, or maybe it wouldn't work. So yeah, about mid-morning yesterday.
Did any of the kids have symptoms Saturday?
Not that I'm aware of. I haven't been in contact with any of them, so I don't know. I
mean, obviously, health is first and foremost. I mean, we know that their kids are going to recover, but the long-term effects that we just don't know about. But it's been a trying year across the country for this. And you and I were kind of joking before, but not something you'd expect your first year up there on the High Line.
Yeah, no. I think we all had an idea that we had to be prepared for something like this to happen this year, but we were getting right to the end of the season, so I thought we were going to make it through and luck out, but unfortunately it hit us right at the end.
I know you can't give me full details, but do you have an approximation on how many football players do have the COVID and tested positive, and how many are just close contacts after that?
Right now they're all going through the testing, or given the option to do testing if they're a contact. So I don't have any definitive numbers at this time on what that looks like.
Havre Activities Director and Principal Brian Kessler joining us, Jason Walker Show. Obviously, one of the first phone calls to Sydney and say, hey, here's the deal.
Billing Central, actually, yep. Is who we were playing this week. So that was our call. And I think the way that contact tracing is working, they're not too concerned with the visiting team that it was against at this point because there's not that 15-minute close proximity situation there.
Right, but you played Sydney last week or on Saturday.
On Friday, yep. We did.
Friday, so that would be the one that I was asking about. I'm sorry.
Okay, yep. Yeah, no, they haven't. Our health department hasn't felt like that's a need to worry about the visiting team at that point. So.
Okay. Well, that's good for the kids from Sydney, I guess.
Yeah, and actually for us, it was the JV game against Malta. That is where some of this is coming from. So,
well, so it's more than one team involved, though. I mean, that's still it's
could be.
That's the trickle down effect of this thing that we just don't know about. It's scary.
It is. I agree with you. Yeah, there's a lot of moving pieces, and trying to figure out the best option for everyone is we're all learning as we go with it, which is, hopefully we have good processes coming out of it, but yeah, it's tricky right now.
The last couple of weeks, Hill County has kind of exploded, and specifically in Havre, and I know some different restrictions were put on. Was this start to be real concern a couple weeks ago for you guys?
It did, yeah. I know for a lot of us, we started to think about, what would we do if we have to go to remote for a couple weeks. I know our board was taking a lot into consideration, a lot of comments from a lot of different sides and angles from the community on how to best approach this. But we've definitely had things in mind for a couple weeks and all year, trying to figure out what we would do if something like this did happen. So,
which is just, at least it hasn't spread into the volleyball team that we know of yet, and they're able to continue. So that's good.
Yeah, that's a positive. You feel for the football guys not getting able to have that last game, but you look at the other teams. Cross country has their state meet on Friday. Volleyball is playing pretty strong right now, so glad hopefully they'll just stay home and not go to parties or anything like that, and keep themselves healthy for the next couple of weeks.
I think high school kids are a lot smarter than college kids.
I think so. I hope so.
I hope so too. This has been, like I said, a rough year, and the numbers have kind of jumped up there in Hill County over the last few weeks. But when you're looking at a football team yesterday and then today, and you have to sit there and tell the seniors, like, hey, sorry, your last game's done. How heartbreaking is that?
It really is. A lot of these kids, especially you talk about those seniors, that they don't have the chance to go play next year, to play in college or whatever it might be. So, you kind of build yourself up for that final game, and to have that final game and not know it was your final game is hard. And I really do feel for those guys and wish it could have went different, but our hands were tied on this one, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's not much you can do with the protocols, and it kind of has to happen. But take me through the next process now. Do you, the sanitation, the cleaning, is there any of that? I know it takes place between games and things like that, but how do you get 40, helmets and uniforms all cleaned up and sanitized and make sure that it's not spreading?
That's a really good question. The nice thing for us is we really don't allow anything to be stored here right now. So all of that stuff should be home with the kids at their houses. So it'll sit for a few weeks before we can, we'll have any opportunity to bring it back into the school. But we'll definitely have to look at that process and how do we make sure stuff is clean and sanitized and quarantined for long enough so that it doesn't spread to something else.
Last week, they made the announcement that the winter sports season was going to be moved back 3 weeks. How does that help Havre? I know it doesn't affect right now, but how does that help you guys moving forward?
I think that was a nice thing for us to have. It gives us, 2 months now, essentially, with most of our sports to just kind of calm down, have kids not around each other as often, and clean things up before we move into that winter season, which, and get through the holiday season. If anybody's going to be going around to families or different states or anything like that, gives us a continued chance to try and stop the trend that we're having here in our county and get people healthy so we can play a winter season.
Well, final question with that, pretty good girls basketball team, hellacious wrestling team. We want these seasons to happen. And I know there's a lot of, news in the media that we don't want it, but we do, especially with those two, obviously, and then the boys team for basketball. But that wrestling team's pretty good. We'd hate to have them not be able to compete.
Yeah, no, like I said, all those teams, that's the one nice thing up here is there's a lot of pride and tradition in the sporting programs, and our wrestlers are doing a good job. Our basketball, I'm excited to see what the girls are able to do. I think our boys are going to be kind of that sleeper team that's going to come out and shock some people this year. And, we have a pretty strong swim program too. So I hope we're able to do, and this is going to help us do what we need to for those programs to be able to get a season in the winter.
Appreciate the time. Had to have been nice your first year not to have to worry about a college team on your field up there, which is a great football field. But nice to see that Northern's going to have its own for sure. But man, congratulations on your job, but I don't envy being in your shoes right now, man.
I appreciate it. Yeah, no, it's actually, oddly enough, a lot of it's been kind of fun to try and work through the problems. So,
well, I
not
guess
all been bad.
it's good to have it in your first year instead of year 20 or something. At least you know what,
True.
Now you can, it's all uphill from,
It is.
all positive from here on out, right?
It is, definitely. That's what I keep telling myself.
There you go. Hey, appreciate the time. We miss you here in Helena, but you're doing a great job up there, and take care.
All right. Thanks, Jason.
That was Brian Kessler, the principal and activities director at Havre High. And little info there for Havre, and it's good info for the rest of the state as far as what's going on. I mean, we've seen Roundup lose season, its final 3 games, and such, and other teams have lost games. And like I said at the top, we've now seen last week, we saw Missoula Loyola girls soccer have to pull out of the State A playoff bracket because of COVID. So, look, I know the recovery rates. I know the death rate is low, and I get the long-term effects that we just don't know about yet. But you can't tell me that this doesn't affect kids, because it directly does. These kids are losing sports seasons and games, okay, and chance to play in the playoffs like Loyola soccer. Like, are you not getting that? For all of you, this isn't as serious. Like, and I've got great friends on both sides of this. So it's just, this directly affects the kids. Has nothing to do with the parents, has nothing to do with you, me. It affects the kids. And I've been saying since August, well, at least since March, that's what sucks the most. We want these seasons for these kids. We want them to have chances. But, and I don't care that recovery rate's 99 point whatever % for kids 0 to 18. They're losing games. So there you go. I was really wrong on predictions. We'll talk about that coming up at least a couple of games. And we'll talk about that on the way. But when we return, we'll talk to Jody Hansen as well. That's coming up. Jason Walker Show. We've got your Auto Concepts Performance of the Week. I'll throw out some nominees when we return next. And get your nominees in as well. You can email them, Facebook, Twitter, also known as the Twitter. Wow. At JWalkerSports on the Facebook, or email jasonwalkersports@gmail.com. And there will be no show tomorrow. I'll tell you why next.
New vehicles keep coming, and Capital Collision Center keeps earning certifications to repair them. They're Helena's newest GM-certified facility. No matter the make or year, they repair your car to manufacturer's standards and requirements, maintaining its safety and value. Montana state law says it's your vehicle and it's your choice where you have it repaired. Choose Capital Collision Center, certified in GM, Subaru, and Nissan, and Helena's only shop certified in Honda, Acura, and Ford. When you value safety, go to Capital Collision Center on Euclid.
Have you thought about buying a home and just don't know where to begin? Well, when it comes to one of the most important purchases one can make, we understand it can be frustrating and confusing, but it doesn't have to be. Let the Major Mortgage team help you with all your mortgage needs. Major Mortgage means major service, and we would love the opportunity to help you today. Give J.R. McFadden, NMLS number 1246357, a call today at 406-465-1918, or you can visit him at 2001 11th Avenue, Building A, Suite 3 in Helena. Major Mortgage is a division of AMCAP Mortgage, NMLS number 129122, equal housing lender.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Mike Miller in Helena today. Yes, it's true that Montana is a long way from the Gulf Coast, but you can bring that Cajun flavor home with a stop at Cafe Zydeco. From po' boys to classic sandwiches, Cafe Zydeco has all the best Cajun in town. Are you in the mood for seafood gumbo or crawfish etouffee? Maybe you're craving jambalaya with some shrimp and grits. Head in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or call ahead for pickup or delivery. Cafe Zydeco will fix all your southern cravings, even on a chilly Montana day. Cafe Zydeco is a proud sponsor of The Jason Walker Show. Do you love to look at photos of Montana, from animals to landscapes and more? Are you looking for a place to get your senior pictures or family portraits done? Are you a business owner looking to upgrade the decor in your offices? Well, look no further than Mark LaRoe Photography. Mark has been shooting beautiful photos all across the Treasure State, from rodeos to portraits, and would love to work with you. Visit marklaroephotography.com to see many masterpieces of his work, then give him a call to schedule your own photo shoot. Or to purchase one of his fantastic pieces, stop by Spirit of the Big Sky Gallery on Custer in Helena. marklaroephotography.com.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Rucker's Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Rucker's, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $299. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
Welcome back, Jason Walker Show. I'm going to go through my predictions from last week. In fact, also our auto contest performance of the week and much more coming up. But welcome in our weekly contributor to the show from 406mtsports.com, the Missoulian, great sports writer, Jordan Hansen, joining us now. How are you?
Good. I don't know. I mean, weekly is like almost pushing at this point. It's just like, oh, did I actually figure out the things I needed to do, or am I just talking out my butt this week? So hey.
Well, you're a sports writer, so you make stuff up as you go anyway. So, I mean, let's be honest.
I think that's devaluing the profession a little bit, but
and you do great work, by the way. When because you guys are when
I do it.
Yeah, when you do it, yes. No, and I don't mean make it up as you go. You guys are just always, you're trying to tell a story, and see, this is why you're better at this than I am. You could make stuff up right now and sound better than I do.
I mean, that's fair, but yeah, okay, fair. That's fair, I suppose. I'm not going to, because, why would I do that?
Right. Jordan Hansen, our guest here, Jason Walker Show. So we were just talking about predictions, and finally, I've passed Nicole Rigoni, who I talk with every Thursday in the our pick and poll that we have on the NFL. And you said when you were at the Standard in Butte, you were not real good at this.
No, as it turns out, I can't pick a football game, an NFL football game, to save my life. College football, maybe a little bit different. Frontier football, probably, but I can't pick NFL games. I'm just not good at it.
Well, with the Frontier, it was. I mean, it's pretty easy. You usually every time Northern's playing, whoever they're playing, you pick them instead of Northern.
Sure.
I mean, they're getting better. Coach Rowland's doing a nice job. Anyway, but I have a great story. I'm going to tell you this real quick, and I've told this story on the air before. So I was doing the pick 'em poll as a celebrity, quote unquote, one year with Troy Shockley when he used to be at the IR, and when he was the sports editor, and Carroll College, and I was doing play-by-play. So this would have been my first or second year, and I'm doing Carroll College at Southern Oregon. I picked Southern Oregon to win, which they did in overtime on a missed 2-point conversion by the Saints. And as I'm walking out to midfield, doing play-by-play, and then trying to do the on-field interview with Coach Van Diest, he looked at me and said, "I'm not talking to you." Took 2 more steps, turned around and said, "I don't talk to people who pick against us." And I thought I was going to get fired right then and there.
And that's frontier football, baby.
Him and I came to, we both apologized, and it made sense. I saw his side. Like, dude, I shouldn't pick. As the play-by-play voice of a team, you shouldn't pick against them. So I just abstained from picking Carroll games the rest of the year, kind of like Kirk Herbstreit does when he does games, and the games that he calls. And then I ended up losing by one game at the end of the year, and I'm like, come on.
Well, you should, if you would have picked Carroll to lose all the games, then at least you would have finished out strong there. So
that is true, because maybe it was 2016, because that was the year they went 4-6. I think the second, yeah. So yeah, so it wasn't good. But anyway, how was your weekend? You got to see a blowout Friday night.
I did. My weekend was pretty good. I slept until like 3:30 yesterday. I'm not really entirely sure why. Still haven't figured that one out yet. But Friday. We got some football that was supposed to be good in Missoula, and it really wasn't. For the first about quarter and a half, Helena pushed Missoula Sentinel a little bit, but it was just one of those things. Once Caden went out, once their offense kind of fell apart, they didn't have any answers for what Sentinel was doing. And at this point, Sentinel looks like one of the best high school football teams in the state, not only just this year, but like in the last 3-4 years. There's some West teams up there. There's a Billings senior team a couple years ago, with some of the guys that they had that it's up there too. But it's just one of those things where just Helen's defense, looked like paper in the second quarter on. Honestly, they couldn't get any of the stops that they needed, and offensively they couldn't get anything rolling at all. The rushing offense was nothing. Caden looked rattled because he was taking hits early on in the Missoulian Sentinel front step and was putting a lot of pressure on him. And once that kind of fell apart, they didn't have any answers and couldn't generate really much of anything.
Well, and Hewitt's so good, but he's been the guy for 2 years now, and obviously your backup's going to be good, but there's a reason you're not a starter. And then when you're playing a really good defense like Sentinels, and it's better than I thought it was. I thought Helena High had the best defense in the state. In fact, I tweeted you that their front seven. But what did Sentinel do so well offensively that really slowed Helena's front seven down?
They were just able to get to the outside. That's one of the big things is they've been able to get to the outside all year. They have the athletes that can do it, and they also kill you with field position. That's been one of the biggest things that they've done is they've continually had good returns. They've made smart decisions on all of the special teams, and and they can also get it up the middle with you. I think Donovan South and Soren Suvrin each had over 50 yards, and it was probably on I think it was 10 or 12 carries. It didn't even really take them much to just start wearing down that middle of the front seven. Once you're able to do that, and the other thing too is that Missoula Sentinel's offensive line is way better than I think most people even give it credit for. Obviously everyone talks about Dylan Rollins, but there's a bunch of different guys on that front group that can make a difference for you, and I think that'll a lot of the times that helps you win games.
406mtsports.com reporter Jordan Hansen works with the Missoulian. I say both, right? I have to take you in both of those, right?
Yeah, and that's really a funny thing is that people just do not understand that Missoulian half the time is 406 MT Sports or that the Gazette writers. I feel like we needed a little bit better branding. I actually suggested just a bunch of billboards around random towns in Montana that was like, hey, 406 MT Sports, that's also the Missoulian, that's also the Standard, that's also the IR, and that's also the Gazette. And anyway.
And apparently the Chronicle now and the Tribune as partners.
Yeah.
Partners.
Yeah, we buy content from or have an agreement with the Bozeman paper, and then with some of the other with the Flathead Beacon and the Lake County will share their stuff too is on our platform. So gotcha. I'm not entirely sure how the ins and outs of all that work. But
nobody is.
seriously.
I feel like you and I could have a great conversation off the air about the newspaper industry, and I won't, because I don't want to get you in trouble. So Jordy Hansen, our guest.
I was like, I don't even know if you can be in trouble. It's like you just talk about frustrating things. I mean, I don't know. It was really funny. I had someone email me the other day just about like, it was because like, it was on Friday. They were like, nice photos, but how many people got COVID at the game over the weekend? And I was like, okay, first of all, you're barking up the wrong tree, because like who has been more, I don't want to say moralistic, but who's been like the trying to
right
say the right things. And it was just like one of those things. It's just like I don't know why people do the things that they do. But anyway, that's completely off tangent, off topic.
You mean like the governor not following his own mask mandate? Oh, did I go there again?
I mean, I don't even get me started on that. I mean, like, how are you supposed to have any sort of good example if you can't even do that? So
yeah. Another blowout that we'll talk about: Billings Central, Miles City. Nobody.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
So I mean, those are two blowouts on Friday that nobody saw.
Yeah, I was really, really, really surprised by what Billings Central was able to do. I mean, I know that they were talking about like they had been disrespected and all this kind of stuff, but I don't know if they just internalized some of that or what exactly was happening there. But they certainly proved a point there this weekend, and they might be the best team in Class A. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Hamilton still looks good, but they only beat Libby 35-12 this week. And I mean that's still 35 points on a pretty good Libby team. But I'm starting to wonder where the power balance truly has still not shifted from the east to the west and Class A football.
Well, and Billings Central is going to have a week off to prepare for the playoffs because Havre had to with the COVID today. So, and we had Brian Kessler on beginning of the show. Jordan Hansen, our guest here. Speaking of COVID and the playoffs, look, we all want the seasons to continue. We all have wanted this, but now we're seeing teams directly affected with the Loyola girls having to pull out of the state playoff bracket last week. Stevensville takes their place, comes in and gets the upset, but that's a Loyola team that fought hard, and then COVID destroyed their season and a chance to win the state tournament.
Well, and I don't know. This is just like the first of something that's going to happen constantly. I mean, like, at every level. I mean, the MLB and NBA got lucky, but what happens if an NFL team is has to do that? Or obviously even at a closer level for us. I mean, you have two teams. What if Sentinel all of a sudden starts getting cases and can't go for their first run? Do you change around the playoffs? Do you, what do you do? And and there's no plan for it, and no one expected. Well, not no one expected, but I'm just surprised there wasn't something along those lines of we're going to give an extra week here, something like that. I don't know truly what the answer is, but it's just something that we're going to have to face, and it's one of the things that's going to put an asterisk on this season is that which teams, which players, who didn't actually get a play. So,
well, I mean, let's be honest. Loyola girls weren't going to win the state tournament in soccer, but they didn't have that chance now. And losing a game in the middle of the season or losing a match in the middle of the season is one thing, but losing a chance to play in the postseason, and this goes back to the state tournaments when they canceled them on Friday, which we both agree should have been done earlier, but they didn't even get a chance to start their playoff. And I know that sounds hypocritical, I think. Maybe not, but I think you know with what I'm saying or trying to.
Yeah, and I like I said, I don't know what the path forward is, and I mean, it's just one of the reasons that what was the point of having these seasons and stuff like this if you're not going to be able to get it to its conclusion or didn't have a better way to get it to its conclusion. That's I don't know. It's just what exactly are we really doing here? And what is the meaning of playing sports, during a pandemic too, a little bit. And it just, some of the playoff stuff kind of puts that thought in mind a little bit, I guess. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what, how they're going to, go about that, or, what the solution would have been. I mean, I really do think that trying to push some of these sports to spring would have ultimately been the better idea, because, you would just be in a different place, I think. And, I just still struggle with that a little bit, that, it would have made a lot more sense to flip around some stuff. But that's, it is what it is.
It definitely is. As Jordan Hansen joining us. All right, you didn't get your top 5 done yet, so I'm going to give you mine, and then you can make fun of me.
Sounds good to me.
All right, AA, Sentinel, obviously, West, Senior, Bozeman, and then a tie for 5th, Helena and Glacier.
I actually like that moving Senior up a little bit. I think that's a good call. They've played Junior Bergen's been just awesome. I mean, it's been fun to see some of those highlights that come through on Twitter. And he's got, it's fun when you can take a wide receiver and turn him into a quarterback, and then also have him still, be a wide receiver on occasion. Mm-hmm. So, it's fun. It's fun to see. I actually did have my AA, so be Sentinel, West, Bozeman, Glacier, Helena. But like I said, I do like the Senior in there, and I think that even Senior at 5th over Helena might be good. Or, might be the better call at this point. It'll be interesting to see if Cage is out for a while or what. But
and I haven't heard yet. So
yeah, I heard it was an arm and a head too. So I mean, that's at least a week of the concussion, and who knows for the arm. So
right. Yeah, it was a hellacious hit. There's no question about that.
Yeah. And he took sacks on back-to-back hits, and I mean, Sentinel was just bringing all sorts of pressure at him too, and that was the other thing too, is that Sentinel's defensive line, Zach Cruz, Hayden Cruz, those guys, those linebackers, those defensive ends, those hybrid guys, just make life a living, nightmare for a lot of those things. But yeah, hell, whatever.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. So I've got a lot of ties this week, which is really weird. So in A, Hamilton, Billings Central, Dillon, Laurel, and then in 5, I've got Miles City, Sioux Falls, and Libby.
Yeah, that top 4 is almost exactly how I would have gone about that. Kind of a big win for Frenchtown over the weekend too. Yeah. They kind of stay alive in that Western A. Because I mean, and we've talked about this a little bit before, and not so much necessarily on the Eastern side, but on the Western A, there's just a cluster there at the top of a bunch of teams that are just really jockeying for those 4 spots, and it'll be interesting to see how that kind of plays out, next week, and just how the seedings go as well. So.
Well, it looks like it's going to be. I mean, I think it's going to be Hamilton, Dillon, Sioux Falls, and Libby probably in that top 4 from the West.
Right.
I mean, because Frenchtown's 3-2, but they've got losses in conference. They can't catch Hamilton or Dillon. Well, they could catch Dillon in the loss column. Didn't Frenchtown beat Dillon?
No. Dillon beat Frenchtown.
Okay.
First game of the season.
Who beat Dillon? Was it Hamilton?
Yeah. Dillon's only losses to Hamilton, and that was a game that Dillon was in until the third quarter. I mean,
that's right.
It was 16. It was 16-16 with 8 minutes left in the third. I mean, Dillon's a team that can push Hamilton. Dillon's a team that I think can push just push about anybody. I can talk. Nice.
It's okay. Welcome to my world. All right, Class B. Class B. I mean, Manhattan, clear cut for me after the way they won against a very good Townsend team, scoring 26 unanswered to get the victory. It's huge. And then I got Florence, Fairfield, Glasgow, and Big Fork.
Yeah, I'd be about there. Big Fork, still a team that I love. I mean, they lost a couple games here and there this season, but have been a really good team, and just that rushing offense again. It's just it's fun to behold. But I was actually pretty impressed with the fight that Townsend put up against Manhattan. Mm-hmm. But I just that Manhattan team, these last couple of years, it's just, kind of taking over the mantle from Eureka, it almost feels like. And, it's just, it's pretty fun to watch and see, or to watch and, see how, what they've been able to do. So fun team in Class B for sure.
Yep. 8-man, Fort Benton, Thompson Falls, Drummond, Phillipsburg, Park City, and then in the tie for 5, I've got Scobie, Fairview, Westby, Grenora.
Yeah, I like that. I like that one, honestly. Interesting thing about Flint Creek is that they did it without their quarterback this week, which was pretty impressive. Not sure what Mike Cutler's kid is in the hospital for, but hopefully he's okay. But
well, that's what it is, because it just said undisclosed. So he's in the hospital.
Yeah, I thought that was what Frank said. Maybe it was just an undisclosed injury, but that's what I thought Frank was saying about it. But yeah, I mean, Kay's obviously a great player, going to probably be pretty good for Montana State. But for Flint Creek to be able to do that without him is pretty impressive. And I mean, that's just a good top 3-4 teams in that 8-man ranks. I mean, Fort Benton has obviously been great. And, T Falls. Well, and it was kind of embarrassing with T Falls. I thought they played on Friday, but because of a ref shortage, they went on Thursday.
Right.
So I called the Thompson Falls coach, whose name is escaping me off the top of my head, but called him like an hour before the game, being like, "Oh, can I get a quote for you guys' game against Charlotte?" And he's like, "Yeah, we're playing in an hour." And I'm like, "Oh, that's up there on the top 10 embarrassing phone moments for me." So.
I love it.
Well, and with the Friday Night Lights stuff, I wait until the absolute last minute on Thursday to do it anyway.
Sure.
So I'm just calling Dane at like 3:30 in the afternoon, be like, "Hey, I hope Sentinel hasn't started practice yet. You want to give me a quote real quick? We do this run around every week, and I should call you on a Wednesday, but I don't. But anyway, that's an aside.
I've got an interesting stat. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Drummond Phillipsburg. I can't call him Flint Creek. Drummond Phillipsburg has outscored its opponents 402-26.
That seems good.
Right? And remember, they have a loss.
I mean, analytics are telling me that's pretty dang good.
Right?
But, yeah.
No, they didn't lose. I thought they lost a game this year. No, they don't have a loss. Who the hell am I thinking of? Doesn't matter. They're undefeated. So there you go. That's why they're my third-ranked team, because they're undefeated. Wow. All right, 6-man. Big Sandy, Shields Valley, Freud Lake, Hobson Moore, Judith Gap, and White Sulphur Springs. And they start their playoffs this week.
Yeah. The bracket's already out. Should be fun. I mean, 6-man football is like video game football, as I said before, and I'm hoping that I get a chance to see a little bit of that, but not sure if that's going to be in the cards. But hopefully.
You've got Saturday. You've got Bridger at Hot Springs.
Yeah.
Saturday at 1.
I just meant like me getting out there specifically because Saturdays are a little bit difficult for us now. Plus a playoff soccer wise.
Oh yeah, they got that. Could be state tournaments, state title games.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be. Might be a big deal. You never know.
Hey, how good is this Hellgate girls team? Because they're going to play at Helena on Wednesday now. That game got moved from tomorrow to Wednesday.
They're solid. I would have actually picked the Sentinel girls to go further than Hellgate, and I would have been wrong. Like most things in my life, but no, it's a good team. They're well coached. They got some really good players on their squad. They're going to be they're always a force to be reckoned with. Either Hellgate school or either Hellgate team. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. And I mean, I think that they have some good defenders. Their midline's good. They've got a good goalie. Their attacks and their counters have been really solid this year. So, it'll just be a thing to see if they can push through. So,
well, it's going to be interesting because they've knocked off one seed in West, and then they play the other one seed out of the West, which is in the East. But That's so weird. Say West is in the East, and now, yeah. But they could be a Cinderella team, right?
I mean, they could, and I think that the only thing that's given in AA soccer anymore is just that Hellgate. The Hellgate boys are going to be in the state title game. So everything else is just kind of we'll see how we'll see.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun. Appreciate you joining us, as always. Have a great week. Try to make your phone calls before Thursday at game time. Who does Sentinel have this week, by the way?
They go up to Glacier, and it's funny enough. It's only the second time this year that Sentinel played a team outside of Missoula. So, if people have any knocks against the Spartans, it's just simply the fact that they have not played out of Missoula very much this year. Which, when you have two teams in your town, let's travel. So
no doubt about that. And the schedule worked out pretty nicely for them.
Seriously,
at Glacier. So Glacier could end up winning the 1 seed if they win, because they would own the tiebreak over Sentinel, so they'd be the 1 out of the West.
Right. Yeah. So they're playing for. It's really funny that a team like Sentinel that's played as well as that they've played this year, still hasn't wrapped up the title for the until the following of the year. And it kind of says a lot about the balance in the Western AA, which is really kind of not there this year. It kind of was last year.
Yeah.
And that was fun, but just not this year for a lot of different reasons. And, I really did think that Big Sky was going to be a better team this year. I thought that Capital was going to be a little bit better team this year. Butte was kind of what I thought. They dropped off,
right.
But Aries still has a playoff team, come the final 2 weeks of the year, which, that's kind of his MO. And yeah, I guess I just was surprised by a few little things along those lines. But I think Sentinel will go up there and be able to get it done.
So who gets so Sentinel, Helena, Glacier, Butte, Capital have all clinched seeds. And by the way, getting Dylan Graham back for Capital, huge. That kid can run the ball. But who gets the final, that 6th slot, Big Sky or Hellgate?
I would say Big Sky, honestly.
Okay.
And it's simply because Big Sky has a tiebreaker over Hellgate.
Well, that makes sense then. All right.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. There's your AA playoffs in the West. Your 6 teams. It'll be West, Senior, Bozeman, Great Falls High, and then Skyview or CMR out of the East. Or Skyview and CMR. Those guys are already going. Okay. That's some bad football on the East.
Yeah, the Western AA is a little bit of a joke this year, to be quite honest. But
yeah, man.
Outside of West, but West also might be the best.
Wow, but Senior and Bozeman are good. But then after that, it drops off dramatically.
Yeah, and I think again that's kind of some of the product of the fact that we also don't have non-conference games, so we don't have some of those wins that kind of look decent but actually aren't. So it's
right.
As opposed to maybe a watered down version where we're really getting the
Well, yeah, because what if Helena High had played Senior or West or Bozeman this year in non-conference? That could make a big difference to where we're sitting here talking about how good are these 4 teams,
Right. Yeah, and I think that was a big thing, that not having non-conference games. It really is hard to tell where the parity is and how good teams truly are compared to their counterparts across the state. But I don't know. It's always just interesting for me to where the power balance is as far as teams and stuff go are the stakes. It feels so different than other places. But
okay, I want you to use this in your headline. If Glacier wins on Friday, you ready for this?
Okay,
the Western AA is like the Big Sky Conference because you have 3 teams sharing the conference title, but only one is the automatic bid.
That's a long headline.
Okay, maybe your first sentence. Something to that effect. Clean it up. See, that's why I just talk and you write.
Double A, more like Big Sky. I don't know. I was trying to come up with the there, just it flops. So
yeah. Well, you don't write headlines anyway. You got, or do you?
Sometimes.
Most papers have somebody that writes editors or writes headlines.
Well, we did until we cut them. I mean that's kind of one of the tragic things of layoff is that you lose people that actually know how to write headlines. And then you have people like me that like can occasionally come up with a decent web head that can't write a print headline.
So you don't want me to write headlines for you, is what you're saying?
No, I want you to.
Well, mine are long though.
I wish anybody would write headlines for me. I can't. It's not an area that my brain can really access.
I'll think of a good one for Friday and send it to you if Glacier beats Sentinel. I don't think they will, but if it happens, I'll come up with a good one.
Miracle and Kalispell, you never know.
That sounds lame. Miracle is too overused. You got to go something Wolfpack or Sparty. Like
there's just too many miracles. We need to cut down the number of miracles that have happened in this country.
Thank you.
I think someone needs to run on that.
Miracle on Ice should literally be the only one.
That's fair. That's actually not a bad take.
I mean, that essentially, was the biggest hockey win in history.
I don't know. The Tampa Bay Lightning winning the World Series, winning the Stanley Cup this year. I mean, that's pretty big. Tampa's the in town now for as far as sports go.
Right.
Bucks going to win the Super Bowl.
Oh, Bucks are not going to win the Super Bowl. They're going to host it. They're not going to win. Are you a Bucks fan?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm a Vikings fan.
That's
just
right.
saying it's
Tom. I never root for Tom Brady.
The worst town in America gets all of the sports spotlight for a while. I mean, the Rays are going to win the World Series.
I hope so. I hate the Dodgers.
Fair enough.
So they're sending Clayton Kershaw is going to start game one. Like, hey, way to go, be 0-1 in the World Series, or way to be down 0-1, because Kershaw can't pitch in the playoffs.
Yeah, but he's going to figure it out this year. He's going to figure it out this year.
It didn't happen last week.
No, but he's gonna figure it out this year.
Okay, that's what they say every year. Every year. All right, so you're picking the Rays?
Probably. I don't know. I'm one of those people that I play fantasy baseball. Yeah, I talk to my friends occasionally about baseball and follow a few baseball people on Twitter. And then it comes to the World Series, and it's like I am an expert on this. So, yeah. I don't know. Last year I did see the Padres. This year was not a fluke. I picked up a couple Padres last year, and I was like, this team might be good. And lo and behold, they turned into something good this year. So
yeah, well, there you go. All right, go do something productive, and maybe take a nap.
That might not be a bad idea.
Hey, enjoy it. We'll talk to you next week. Enjoy the football this weekend, and I'm anxious to send you some headlines. I'll start doing that.
All right, sounds good, dude.
All right, man. That is Jordan Hansen joining us on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline. He is so fun to talk with. So much fun. So just got an update, by the way. This is great news. So Friday night at about midnight, our great friend Bruce Parker finally got his kidney transplant. 3.5 years. Just got a text message from him. Things are going well. The kidney hasn't woken up, so still doing dialysis. Will be discharged tomorrow. Life is good. That is awesome. Fantastic. And we'll get Bruce on the air as soon as he actually tried calling while we were talking to Jordy, but we'll get Bruce on the air. That is great news for Bruce Parker and Lisa. And Lisa's been a trooper the last half dozen years, taking care and helping take care of Bruce. But so glad to see Bruce doing well and getting his kidney down there in Phoenix. So, all right, we're obviously going to run late, but it really doesn't matter, does it? Because we just it's our thing. All right. We'll come back. My predictions last week, Auto Concepts performance of the week, on this day in history, much more still to come. Jason Walker Show here on the internet, and we'll be right back. Jason Walker here, and I want to tell you about a great place that's going to make you feel better in just an hour. Ocean Spirit Massage. From deep tissue to hot stone and more, Ocean Spirit Massage will get your sore, tired muscles feeling like new. Whether you overdid it working out, hiking the hills, playing golf, whatever it is, or even if you're pregnant, you will walk away feeling better than you have in years. Book now for yourself or make it a couples massage. And gift certificates are always available as well. Visit oceanspiritmassage.com or call 417-0542. Everyone knows about Dinner's Done Right and the convenience of the cook and carry cuisines. It's so easy to just stop by and you have something for dinner that night. But there's also one more thing you need to know about. Dinner's Done Right Grab and Go Salad Bar. Yes, I said salad bar. Always the freshest ingredients along with a daily soup and nacho bar too. So the next time you are in a rush or you just want to eat healthy, stop by Dinner's Done Right for the soup, salad, and nacho bar. For monthly menus and more info, it's dinnersdoneright.com. Fall is officially here, and now is the perfect time to get your rig tuned up before the big hunt. That means a lift kit from Auto Concepts. An Auto Concepts lift kit will help take you places only the animals can go. And when you do get that big one, make sure you have help to get it home with a winch to pull it out. Or maybe you'll be a good friend and help pull someone out of the snowbank. Check out AutoConceptsHelena.com for more ideas. Auto Concepts, the auto enhancement professionals. Do you love to look at photos of Montana, from animals to landscapes and more? Are you looking for a place to get your senior pictures or family portraits done? Are you a business owner looking to upgrade the decor in your offices? Well, look no further than Mark LaRoe Photography. Mark has been shooting beautiful photos all across the Treasure State, from rodeos to portraits, and would love to work with you. Visit marklaroephotography.com to see many masterpieces of his work, then give him a call to schedule your own photo shoot. Or to purchase one of his fantastic pieces, stop by Spirit of the Big Sky Gallery on Custer in Helena. marklaroephotography.com. Jason Walker Show, final segment, brought to you by Mark LaRoe Photography. Check him out, marklaroephotography.com. Buy something, get 20% off by mentioning the show. Book a portrait package, and he's been taking some unreal photos of the backcountry right now. It's awesome. marklaroephotography.com. But if you purchase a photo package and mention the show, you'll get a free 8x10 canvas or matte print. All right, so Wednesday, Steve Daines, the senator from the state of Montana, one of them, will join us. And Thursday, of course, Nicole Rigoni. That's what she said. Friday could have a special guest. No show tomorrow. I'm going to be going to Bozeman and doing play-by-play on SWX with Alex Eshelman as Belgrade battles Bozeman in AA volleyball tomorrow night. So I will be doing that. Play-by-play for that. So it should be a good time. You can check it out at 7 o'clock. All right. So let's do some of the Auto Concepts Performance of the Week nominees. Becca Payne, 17 kills. Townsend defeated Manhattan last week. Emma DeVries, 19 kills, 13 digs, and 5 aces. Roberts topped Melstone. Blake Drakos, 4 touchdowns. Butte raced past Big Sky, 51-33. Jake Rendina, 4 touchdowns, 173 yards. Glacier hammered Flathead. Eli Abbey, 3 second-quarter touchdown passes to Jake Waddell, had 5 for the game, and Laurel got past Lewistown. Pat Deshane, 5 touchdown passes, and ran for another for Florence Carlton in a 42-0 win over Corvallis. Cormac Ben, 204 yards, 4 touchdowns, caught a 5th touchdown. Big Fork romped Anaconda. Garrett Zindars, 3 touchdowns, caught a 4th. Jake Gauthier, 4 scoring touchdown passes. Park City rolled. Belts Cayman Evans, 163 yards passing, 151 rushing. He also had 16 tackles and then scored the game-winning touchdown. Had 4 total TDs and a 30-28 win over Chinook. Rylan Edens, 17 kills. Addie Swanson, 33 assists. Gallatin in 5 over Great Falls. Avery Kraft, the freshman, with the winning penalty kick as Helena beat Gallatin last week. And Helena will now host Hellgate on Wednesday because Hellgate upset West 2-1. Ashley Young with the PK winner. Alberton Superior, a big win over Plains. Brian Mask, 3 rushing touchdowns in the first quarter. And then he passed for 2 touchdowns. Reggie Deuce, Beckett Arthur, hat tricks. Hellgate boys, 7-1 victory over Skyview on the pitch. Maya Mack, 3 goals for Laurel in a 4-0 win over Big Fork, the defending state champs. Emma Barron, a hat trick. Whitefish heading to the semis with a win over Livingston. And I think Whitefish plays Laurel this week or Central. They play somebody. Obviously. All right, my predictions from last week, and then we'll give you our auto contest performance of the week. So I had Hellgate at Capital. I picked Capital 24-14. It was Capital 47-20. Great offensive night for the Bruins. Townsend at Manhattan. I picked the Tigers 45-40. It was Manhattan 29-14. Fairfield at Malta. I predicted a 38-31 game for Fairfield. It was actually 14-6. But Fairfield won, so I got it right. Hamilton at Libby. I predicted 49-31 in favor of Hamilton. It was 35-14. So 4 for 4. Frenchtown at Columbia Falls, rather. I predicted Sea Falls to win 24-21, but Frenchtown won 28-21. And then the game of the week, not many people got this one right at all. I picked Helena High over Sentinel 42-38. It was Sentinel 48-zip. And we hope Caden Hewitt's going to be okay. We'll find out later this week. All right, your auto contest performance of the week. It's probably going to be the same for the next 2 Mondays. But the Capital volleyball team tied senior in the past with 65 straight wins. They did it Friday. They almost didn't get there. Helena High gave a hell of an effort on Thursday, pushing Capital to 5. But Capital rallied from a 2-1 deficit to get to the win in 5. It was 15-4 in the 5th on Thursday. And then Friday afternoon, the Bruins rolled past Flathead, 65 straight wins. That's your auto contest performance of the week. They have a chance to break it tomorrow. I think they play Hellgate, so they should. And there's still 4 teams ahead of them. They're still about 36, 37 away from, maybe 39 away from Huntley Project's all-time. All right. On this day, it is October the 19th. It is Clean Your Virtual Desktop Day. It is Seafood Bisque Day and Kentucky Day. 1856, James Kelly, Jack Smith would fight bare knuckle for 6 hours and 15 minutes. 1957, Montreal Canadian Maurice the Rocket Richard became the first to score 500 goals. 1966, Bobby Orr would make his regular season debut for the Boston Bruins. 1974, Detroit Pistons would beat the Trailblazers in Portland. The next time Detroit won in Portland, June 1st, 1990. So they went a lot of years. Like 16 without winning in Portland. 87, Woody Woodward resigned as the Yankee general manager. Lou Piniella named the GM. Billy Martin was named the Yankees manager for the 5th and final time. 1997, the 700th World Series home run was hit. Sandy Alomar of Cleveland. 1876, Mordecai Three-Finger Brown was born. Hall of Fame pitcher. Lynn Dickey was born on this date in 1949. 1962, Evander Holyfield was born. 1973, Shitting Wang, tennis star from Taiwan, was born. Shitting Wang. 1990, Dances with Wolves premiered. In Washington, D.C., would go on to win the Best Picture award at the Academies in 1991. History. That's what we do here.
We're almost at the end of the show. What did we learn? And what did he miss? Time for the walk-off.
Oh, man, we had a good show today. Oh, we didn't get to this. There was a couple of things I wanted to get to. I'll be in Bozeman tomorrow doing volleyball, so no show. We'll remind you of that here in a second. There was a Bozeman woman. Actually, she's from Billings, but was accused of speeding through Bozeman on a construction zone Friday. Amy Jones has been charged with criminal endangerment. So witness had said she was going almost 70 through a construction zone. So a bunch of witnesses blocked in the vehicle and then made it basically a citizen's arrest. But police arrived. So this is during the day, 11:45 in the morning, possible DUI. The lady, Jones, when contacted by the police, did not deny traveling approximately 70 miles per hour through the construction zone, but said it was because of the quote-unquote space music she was listening to. She said she had been drinking alcohol and had 5 ounces of whiskey. The officer said he couldn't smell alcohol. Her BAC was .000. Her eyes were red and glassy, reportedly made nonsensical statements. Her emotions were erratic, would laugh and then cry. They found a marijuana pipe and marijuana in her car. But space music caused her to drive fast. I just had to get that in. And then I saw this today. Listen to this. This is Joe Buck and Troy Aikman from earlier today.
That's a lot of jet fuel just to do a little flyover.
That's your hard-earned money and your tax dollars at work.
That stuff ain't happening with Kamala Biden ticket. I'll tell you that right now, partner.
So, yeah, I was yesterday at the Tampa Bay Green Bay game. Troy Aikman, quote, "That's a lot of jet fuel just to do a little flyover." Joe Buck, "That's your hard-earned money and your tax dollars at work." Aikman, "That stuff ain't happening with Kamala Biden ticket." Okay. I'm sure there will be some fallout from that. I'm sure. All right. Great show today. Brian Kessler, thank you for updating us about Havre. Jordy Hansen, always a fun time talking with him. Tomorrow, no show. We'll be in Bozeman doing play-by-play, SWX Montana, with Alex Eshelman on color. Looking forward to working with her for the first time. We'll be calling Belgrade at Bozeman AA volleyball tomorrow. Looking forward to that. So tune in at 7. So no show tomorrow. We'll be back Wednesday with Senator Steve Daines. If you missed anything, go to jasonwalkershow.com. We are presented by Capital Collision Center. Have a great Monday. We'll see you back here on Wednesday. But see you for volleyball tomorrow on SWX.
The Jason Walker Show is produced by the Jason Walker Media Company. Any reuse, rebroadcast, or retransmission without the express written consent of the Jason Walker Show is strictly prohibited. Just listen, watch, and enjoy.